Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving headfirst into a really unusual source. It's a book where the apocalypse, well, it isn't just spiritual, it gets physical. Gravity-defying physical.
Exactly. Our source material today comes from excerpts of a fictional narrative. It's called Wormwood, Gravity's Reversal and the Collapse of Worlds. And yeah, while it is fiction, we're treating it almost like a case study, a really high-stakes one about foresight and reaction.
Right, and our mission is pretty straightforward. We want to pull out the key insights from this scenario. We're going to track the whole journey, from this vague apocalyptic feeling right through to literal physical collapse.
And we'll pay close attention to the sheer ingenuity people need just to survive when the basic laws of nature just stop working.
Because really, survival in this story boils down to maybe three things. A centuries-old prophecy, this fictional physics textbook, and get this, a heavy, rusted freight hook.
And that mix is really the core conflict for you, the listener, to think about. What actually happens when this predicted spiritual collapse meets a literal physical impossibility?
It forces you to analyze how different kinds of preparation, spiritual, academic, practical, how they all intersect when the world literally turns upside down.
So let's set the scene. The atmosphere before the event, it's thick with critique, spiritual, socioeconomic, and it's mostly coming through this blind man they call Doc.
Yeah, Doc. He's kind of the author's mouthpiece here, isn't he? A voice of, fiery judgment.
He really is. He's sitting there, we're told, holding a Braille Bible and just railing against what he calls the last days, where people are lovers of pleasure.
And the irony the author sets up is just, wow. Doc can't physically see, but he's the only one with any real prophetic sight.
He goes after the commercialization of religion hard. Specific examples, like a Jesus amusement park. Can you imagine?
Or megachurches needing, $2 million a day?
Yeah, just to keep the lights on, basically. Selling, as he puts it, cheap-ass religious trinkets. He doesn't mince words.
No, he doesn't. And his critique goes straight to the nation itself. He sees America as this empire in swift decline.
And even asks that really provocative question, is this empire the beast from prophecy?
Wow, and it gets even more pointed when he talks about patriotism, right? Equating the Pledge of Allegiance to idol worship.
Exactly. He's directly referencing that biblical story, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah.
The ones who wouldn't bow down to the statue.
Right.
Doc draws this parallel to modern patriotism, which he thinks distracts from, actual faith.
And he backs it up with facts, or at least the facts presented in the text, that the U.S. spends 18 times more than all other countries combined on weapons.
While claiming, in God we trust, he sees this deep, deep hypocrisy and argues it's sort of paving the way for the fall.
So even before the physics goes haywire, Doc feels something's wrong, physically wrong.
Yeah, he's in his swing and he feels the earth lifting, he says, getting lighter.
He's expecting the rapture, right? People just vanishing, zap, gone.
That's his frame of reference.
Yeah.
And then Miss Bernice comes in and gives this whole feeling a name, Wormwood.
Ah, right, from Revelation.
Yeah, she quotes it directly. Revelation 8:10, a great star called Wormwood falls, makes the water bitter, people die. She connects it straight to the vials in God's judgment. So the spiritual framework, it's locked in.
Okay, but hold on to that spiritual prep for a second, because right before everything goes sideways, the neighbor drops this dose of harsh reality.
Oh yeah, the socioeconomic angle, the end of the unskilled laborer, factory jobs gone overseas.
America producing, what did he say? Only guns and penitentiaries. Grim stuff.
It really is. And the message is clear. You need education to make money, to survive.
Yeah.
Society's structure is already crumbling even before gravity decides to quit.
And then the shift happens. The spiritual and economic stuff, it becomes physical, like impossibly physical.
Yeah, the sources describe this weird object hovering over London, over New York, spinning, giving off strange magnetic waves. And that's the moment. Gravity just stops being reliable.
This is where it gets genuinely bizarre. The consequences are immediate and, frankly, absurdly terrifying.
Like the River Thames in London churning, barges suddenly bobbing like corks.
And then whoosh, cars, people, just hurled upwards, not just up, but into the infinite night sky. That phrase is chilling.
It really is. And think about the disorientation. There's that airplane scene.
Oh, right. The pilot tries to bank left, but the compass just spins wildly.
Because of the magnetic waves, presumably. And the force is so strong, a man's body actually shatters the windshield from the outside.
Wedgie against the pilot, and the plane doesn't fall. It slams upwards into a building.
Yeah, a 6-story office building, everything you thought you knew about, up and down. Gone. Instantly irrelevant.
Okay, so chaos reigns. But then we get the key, the theoretical blueprint for maybe surviving this madness. Professor Orloff Mannheim.
Ah, Mannheim. This fictional, probably obscure professor whose theories on magnetism and magnetic fields suddenly become the most important text on Earth.
He'd actually hypothesized a world where Newton's law of gravity is just negated. What goes up keeps going up.
But the source sort of implies nobody really listened, right? Like his theories were just out there, ignore academic stuff.
Until disaster strikes. He theorized oceans rising from the seabed, desert sands streaming upwards.
And crucially, this detail about houses. Only those whose foundations were not soundly secured to the earth would fall away. Suddenly, this isn't theory, it's a survival manual. Life or death instructions.
He even talked about the moon's gravity, didn't he? Controlling tides, but also influencing emotions.
Yeah, like farmers sowing by moon phases. It's a neat touch, bridging the hard physics with that more ancient, almost spiritual worldview of Doc and Mrs. Bernice.
So the houses are falling away, or rather falling up. Alex and his family wake up, and their world is literally inverted. They're on the ceiling.
Total chaos inside. The fridge is on its side. And worse, the main gas line sheared off. The whole inverted space is filling with gas.
And there are immediate consequences, an explosion.
Yeah.
Right.
Glass shards fly, hitting Alex's mother in the face. Blinds her, at least temporarily. Awful.
And outside, their neighbor, Tim the mechanic, he was working late under a car.
Yeah, the car's weight, because gravity reversed is crushing him. Just terrible luck, wrong place, wrong time, and a physics nightmare.
So survival becomes this desperate improvisation. Alex steps up. He sees the earthquakes are getting worse. The houses won't last.
So he turns his family into, what does he call them? Mountain climbers.
Yeah, using whatever they can find. It's all about ingenuity with discarded stuff.
He pulls coaxial cable out of the wall, you know, old TV cable.
And ties the family together with it. Alex, his sister Noreen, the now blind mother, the grandmother, the twins, Mimi and Valerie.
Forces them to move along the eaves of the inverted roof, backs pressed tight to the house. Using obsolete tech, basically communication wire, to maintain physical connection when everything's flying apart.
But the coax cable isn't enough for big gaps, right?
Uh.
They need something more robust.
So Alex makes this incredibly risky move back into Tim's ruined garage.
To get what?
A rusted metal hook, a heavy-duty grappling hook Tim used way back when he worked packing freight.
Wow. A simple, old-school manual labor tool.
And that's what saves them later, because Tim's garage collapses, the roof, the car, Tim's body, it all just tumbles up into the sky. That hook is the difference between life and death. Pure practical thinking.
And the danger just keeps ramping up. The earthquakes get stronger, more frequent. Mr. Dobbs mentions one, a
Wow.
0.7.
Yeah, 0.7 on the Richter scale. Not massive by normal standards, but when your house is already upside down and unstable, it's accelerating the collapse of everything.
Which forces them to confront that single critical insight from Mannheim's work.
The only truly secure place
Is underground.
Exactly. The source is explicit. Caves, tunnels, sewers, and basements. Critically, basements.
And this is where the science and the prophecy kind of click together, isn't it?
Perfectly, because the narrative immediately cuts to Doc, the blind man.
And where is he?
Safe, secure, in some kind of underground compartment lit only by a kerosene lantern. His survival confirms Mannheim's theory, even though Doc was expecting the rapture.
And his only word when it all happened?
Wormwood. The spiritual warning and the scientific reality become the exact same thing.
Okay, so knowing this underground is safe, Alex takes charge again. Where do they go?
He suggests Mrs. Bernice's house, not just for the basement shelter, but he specifically remembers her basement is full of preserves, canned food, thinking longer term now, survival resources.
But there's a catch, right? It's not just getting there.
No, her two vicious mastiffs, Romulus and Remus, they usually live in that basement, so another immediate threat to deal with.
Man, it never stops. So the final leg of this first part of their journey,
Yeah.
it kind of sums up everything they've learned so far.
Absolutely. The whole group, Alex, Noreen, the mother, grandmother, the twins, they escape the Dobbs house, which is now on fire.
Climb out a kitchen window, back along the eaves, using that coax cable technique.
Then they have to grapple onto a chain link fence, presumably using Tim's hook.
And finally climb into the bathroom window of the next house over. It's this constant blend of terror, physics, quick thinking, and that old freight hook.
We really covered a lot there. We saw foresight from Doc's religious and social commentary. We saw Fictional theoretical physics become terrifyingly real.
And just incredible human ingenuity, turning
Yeah.
TV cable and an old hook into like a mountaineering kit on the fly.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows you, the listener, that preparation in this world demands, well, it demands you pull from everywhere.
The survivors are the ones who can somehow blend a Bible prophecy, an obscure academic theory, and a rusted tool from their dead neighbor's garage. It's an insane combination.
It really is. Okay, so here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on. The source mentions something Doc, the blind man, said. Nobody ever goes to war and comes back whole. The wounds on the inside, they're the deepest. Now think about the survivors we followed. Alex, Noreen, the mother. They've lived through a world literally turned upside down. They've got the physical wounds, sure, glass, fire. But what about those deeper, unseen wounds?
Right. What kind of society can you even build when the only safe places are basements and sewers? When your connections are made of scavenged wire and rusty metal? What does that do to people long
That's
term?
a kind of resilience, but also what kind of profound scarring comes from that. Something to think about.